Hey everyone, hope everyone's doing well and staying safe these days. Here's my review of the Surface Pro 8. Here's your box before I actually go ahead and unbox this. Surface Pro 8. Obviously a good nice picture here with the Windows 11 background here. This tablet does come with Windows 11. And if you didn't believe me, there's a lovely little sticker down there. And just taking a look at some other little things back here. Just letting you know the power supply, Wi-Fi 6, Bluetooth, other little details of this particular tablet and different languages as well too. So enough of that, let's go ahead and open this up. There's a little flap down here that does make it a little bit easier to open up. And that didn't really work out as I was hoping. So let's just do it the old-fashioned way. Nice box over here. Go ahead and open this up. Here's our tablet. I believe this, opening up a bunch of Go tablets and Pros before over the years, I've noticed that they actually have changed this from plastic to like a paper-based, so I'm guessing that's for recyclable purposes, which is nice to see. Here's our tablet. I'm going to go ahead and open that up in just a moment. Right over here, looks like this is our adapter. Probably a 60 to 90 watt AC adapter here. And there you go. 65 watt, somewhere in the middle. And a little booklet over here, just some thank you for buying Surface Pro 8, some other information. I was hoping maybe there'd be a little bit of sticker here or something with the Windows logo, but no, not in this case. Let's go ahead and move this over. Get this opened up over here. Very nice. Feels great. By the way, the box itself with the tablet, I did actually feel it definitely does weigh a little bit more than the Pro 7 when I first got my hands on it. And just holding this tablet in my hand, I definitely feel it has a little bit more weight to it to some degree. Just taking a look at the edges here, but let's go ahead and just open it up and take a look at the entire thing itself. This is the Surface Pro 8 in Platinum. It's also available in like a nice aluminum looking black color. And here it is. Definitely can see the bezel here is much thinner, much more area to actually use a screen in. So let's go ahead and power this up. Taking a quick look at the device itself, you can see down here the little area that your keyboard will actually attach to. The Surface signature keyboards and whatnot that used to be working with the Pro 7 and previous generations of the Surface Pro will actually not work on this. It has its own particular keyboard, very similar to the one that the Surface Pro X actually uses. On the side here, you do actually see the same connection here, same Microsoft charger connection. You have two USB-C. These are actually Thunderbolt connections on the side, so you can actually hook up monitors here and whatnot. Very fast transfer speed that these particular ports can give you. Here, of course, is your power button on the side. Taking a look at the other side over here, you do have your, looks like your headphone jack, very interesting, and your volume up and down over here as well too. So these buttons were actually previously on the top of the tablet. Now they've actually been put to the left and the right side, which is a bit of a change right there, absolutely for sure. Let's go ahead and open up this wonderful kickstand. I've always liked the kickstands on all the Surface devices so far, even dating back to the earlier generations. And here, of course, immediately one thing you do see is this particular little piece here, the micro SD slot that we used to actually see around this area on previous Pro generations is actually not here anymore. But you do have the option to go ahead and open this little enclosure here and swap out your SSD. I went ahead and relocated because obviously the ceiling light in my room was actually really bright. You can actually see how reflective this screen is considering the glossiness. That's probably another little option that I was kind of hoping that Microsoft would eventually introduce, even though one easy solution to that would be just to get basically like some sort of like tempered glass, like a sticky thing that are very popular with smartphones to actually put on this. So it'll kind of like create like a matte kind of feeling as opposed to kind of glossy. But here we are. I'm going to go ahead and turn this on for the first time. And let's hope the battery's not fully dead or anything like that. So here we're just getting that just a moment screen. Windows 11 should be popping up any moment now. All right, so here we are. I'm going to go ahead and just select English. Just tilt the screen a little bit. Now there's not much reflection here. Picture actually looks really, really good. Obviously, the tablet feels, just using the Pro 7 for some time, tablet actually feels bigger than it really is just because the screen area is so much larger considering the bezel space is now a little bit thinner. So go ahead and click on yes here. Right keyboard. Skip the layout. And now it's asking me to actually go ahead and connect to a network here. I'm going to go ahead and do my little trick, and I'll put a description below to actually go ahead and bypass creating a Microsoft account with Windows Home. All right, that step is now out of the way, so I'm just going to go ahead and click on accept here. I did not actually connect to a Wi-Fi, and I'm just going to go ahead and just enter a name here for a local account. And there's a keyboard. I'm not going to set up a password at this time. I'm just going to turn off and disable all this creepy stuff here and click on next. Whoops, a couple more little things there. Did like the fact that you had to actually scroll down. Once I actually hit accept or next, it did give me the option to turn off the further options. I didn't just automatically assume, oh, okay, you're done. And here we are. This should probably just take a moment here to process and get into the desktop of Windows 11. So far, the performance is actually pretty quick. The keyboard didn't really take any time at all to actually come up. On the Go 3 tablet I reviewed very recently, and I'll put a link in the description below as well too for that. I did notice that it did take a moment for the keyboard to actually pop up there, which is a little discouraging for the most part. You're ready to type in whatever it is you want to type in there, username, password, Wi-Fi name, whatever. And the keyboard actually takes a couple of tries. And I've had this experience before with other Go and Go 2 tablets previously. I always found that quite irritating for the most part, but it is what it is. It is a base model. This is also a base model as well too, but obviously running a Core i5 CPU or equivalent for this particular device here. And our device is fully booted up and ready to go. Looks like the battery strength is about 25%, a little low on the low end, but definitely then much better than being fully dead. So I'm just actually going ahead and just navigate around here a little bit. Probably does need a couple of drivers to be updated and whatnot, and a bunch of Windows updates to be downloaded. So I'm going to go ahead and get connected to the internet and process all that stuff. But just opening some stuff up here, generally speaking, it's actually running pretty quick so far for the most part. This is an 8GB, 128GB SSD, 8GB of RAM device over here. So I'm just randomly opening up some stuff. Obviously, the Microsoft Store is not going to work. But, you know, again, just opening up a few little things here to get things open, you know, just show you how basically it's working out. Go ahead and bring up Task Manager. I see here that memory is actually, for the most part, somewhat decent, maybe around 60% now that I have a couple of windows open, and running pretty well. You know, now that I actually have this device in my hand, it does feel like it does feel a little bit more lighter. So go ahead and tilt it this way as well too. You'll see it does immediately jump into that position as well. I'm going to give you a much better view of that very shortly once I get all these drivers installed. So as I said earlier, let's go ahead and pop all these drivers so I can give you a full experience of this particular device without anything to hold it back. So I've gone ahead and installed all the Windows updates that were actually available at the time. It did actually take about, I would say 30 or 45 minutes in total, and actually sucked out the battery pretty much almost down to zero. So I had to go ahead and give it a bit of a charge here. So right now it's actually still not to a full 100%, maybe to about 60, 65%. Last time I looked, let's just take a quick look here. Yeah, looks like just about 63%, so not bad. And went ahead and customized it a little bit to my liking, went ahead and changed the wallpaper. Actually, it looks like the wallpaper seems to be changing on its own. So I'll probably just go ahead and change that again. But overall, so far, so good. My experience so far with this device is actually pretty good. And yeah, it looks like it's to a freaking picture. There we go. Actually, I'll just pick this one out here once it actually allows me to. There we go. And so far, the performance is actually really good. So this device is using an 11th generation Intel CPU and running at about 2.4, 2.3 gigahertz, 4 cores and another 4 threads, so a total of 8. And actually running pretty well for a base model, actually a little more impressive than actually I was originally really thinking this thing would be for a base model. So I can imagine when you throw in some more memory, faster SSD, a slightly faster CPU, and iCore i7 CPU, what the performance of this device would be, and also what the battery life would be as well too. Let me go ahead and bring up Task Manager here. Now you might actually see this funny little icon here, as many people who have used Windows 11 know, when you do right click on the taskbar, the option for Task Manager is actually not there. This is a choice that Microsoft has made that really is just beyond me why on earth they did that. So I created a little bit of a shortcut down here to make life a little easier. If I ever actually start using Windows 11 on a day-to-day basis, that's probably exactly what you're going to be seeing on my taskbar, a little Task Manager shortcut button there. Let's go ahead to performance. We can actually see here all 8 cores, the full name of the 11th generation iCore i5 CPU here, 8 gigabytes of RAM for a base model as well too, and of course here's your SSD. And I have to mention, I was actually watching some YouTube videos, CNN videos, kept catching up with staying up to date actually with the news lately in particular. And battery life so far is actually pretty decent for the most part. Pretty much on par with my Go 3 tablet. And definitely not as great, obviously, because this device will be drawing quite a bit of more power than a small little device like that. But let's go ahead and take a look here, open up some applications just to actually get a gist of the performance. I did go ahead and install Office. You can also see I installed Firefox as well too. Let me go ahead and just bring up Edge, bring up Firefox as well too, and go ahead and bring up Word and maybe Excel. I did go ahead and install Office and bring it up to date as well too. So this is actually an up-to-date version of Office 2019. Let me see what else we can possibly bring up. Just bring up another version of PowerPoint there. And everything opened up. Let me just go ahead and open up Task Manager again using my little shortcut. And you'll see it's pretty much almost at 80%. So being the base model, I don't recommend having so much stuff running all at the same time. You can actually start running to a little bit of thresholds here while the memory begins to do its swapping around. But good news is you actually do have a pretty fast SSD. And just for a little test here, we're going to leave all those open. I'm going to go ahead and bring up Crystal Disk Mark as well too, and do a little bit of why not, a little bit of a benchmark to actually see what exactly read and write speeds you actually get with this particular tablet here. I'm anticipating it's going to at least be 1,000 megabytes, might even be hitting 2,000 as well too. You might actually remember when I did a little disk benchmark on the SSD of the Surface Go 3 tablet. You were actually seeing quite disappointing numbers of 200, 300 megabytes a second for read and write, which is even slower than the original like SSD SATA 6 drives, hitting at like the 500, 550 megabytes a second. So bear in mind that the base model of some of these Surface devices are actually using, you'll see the numbers a little less, like less memory, less SSD space, but they actually might be using a different type of SSD, and that definitely does go with the Go 2 and Go 3 tablets. Using the base 64 gigabyte model, I believe, is actually giving you a ever so slightly different version of the SSD now. The actual memory name escapes my mind right now. But if you actually go ahead and take a step up and go to 128, you'll definitely start seeing much improved numbers. Approaching actually the numbers you're actually seeing here. Really nice read speed. Write speed's a bit slower, and that actually may be just because the SSD is a little smaller. You'd have noticed the trend that the larger the SSD is, sometimes the numbers may vary in a more positive way. And it looks like it definitely does apply here as well. So again, this is definitely the base model Core i5 8GB, 128GB model of the Surface Pro 8. So you'll probably see slightly better numbers, if not definitely incredibly better numbers for just something as small as a disk benchmark. And you're actually seeing that here. Maybe, of course, me sucking up the majority of the memory on this device already is causing it to run a little bit slower. Who knows? But let's go ahead and close a couple of apps here. I'm going to go ahead and play a 4K video off YouTube. And let's see how that goes. This benchmark has finished. So there are your numbers right there. So let me find here a 4K video here with less chit chat. I'll probably do that. Play my review of the DJI OM5 gimbal right over here. And I did actually go ahead and leave a couple of things open. I left the Word document open over here. I'm going to go ahead and actually just do that. I also left another browser open just to kind of simulate the everyday use as somebody would probably be using a tablet or a computer, and you do have one Office application open. You may have multiple browsers open or one browser with multiple tabs. And of course, I do still have my little task manager here, bringing it down to about 70%, 72% memory. So let's go ahead and play this video here. And I will definitely go ahead and show you how it looks in each play format. Let's go ahead and pick 1440, since obviously we know 1080 shouldn't be any issue whatsoever. Go ahead and bring up the screen here. Pretty responsive for the most part. I actually do like how I just click on the little full screen there. On the Go 3 tablet, even in Windows 10, as I mentioned that Windows 10 can run on the Surface Go 3 tablet. Whether Windows 10 or Windows 11, I do see a bit of a hiccup anytime I'm flipping between full screen and going back to just this little window screen view here. And I'll go ahead and flip right back. And what I mean by hiccup, I mean it takes about, almost feels like 3 or 4 seconds. Now, obviously that is a base model, so you can understand why it's just hiccuping a little bit. But can it play 1440 or 4K videos? That tablet definitely hiccuped a lot here. So far, running flawlessly on the Surface Pro 8, which is really impressive. Let's go ahead and push it up to 4K video. This is 1440 that I'm playing right now. You can actually see that right there. I'm going to go ahead and push this up to 4K. Let me actually just take a moment to load up. And here we are. Still running pretty smoothly, and with some applications still running in the back. I can also mention that while I was actually uninstalling all the kind of junk stuff that actually came with this, all the apps and everything, there was even pre-installed different multi-language versions of Office that I went ahead and removed. Office 365. Went ahead and removed that. You actually can see that I was able to actually play a video while actually uninstalling software, and no hiccups at all. I think it may have just stuttered once. It could have been the internet, it could have just been the tablet itself, but still running pretty strong, which is really impressive. Feeling around the shell of the tablet, it's actually getting quite warmer, and I can even here, you can actually see these ventilation holes on the top where a fan on this side, I believe, on the upper left side will actually activate if the device needs to be cooled down a little bit. And I've actually heard that a couple of times already. I actually can kind of feel the breeze coming out of it right now as well too, when doing a lot of the Windows updates, which does seem like a little bit of a small process, but can be a little bit demanding when it comes to mobile devices. Even at just updating your mobile devices to the latest version of iOS or Android, you definitely can understand that, particularly a new device right out of the box. So taking a look here yet again, 4K running pretty well on this device, which is really amazing. I'll go ahead and just reduce it down here. Try to pop it into window mode. Seems to be responding decently well. And let's see if I actually go to YouTube on this. I'm not going to play videos side by side because we know that's going to actually cause an issue, but I'm just basically just trying to browse stuff on YouTube on another browser here. By the way, if anyone's wondering why I have ad blocker installed, well, I'm actually playing my own videos, you can see here, and it's kind of tacky to be playing my own video and see ads pop up there. I mean, that's just kind of silly. You did actually see there, it did stutter there for a moment as I was jumping right back to the other browser here, but that's actually kind of normal. I've seen that before, even on desktop systems. Just a little bit of a small little thing. You don't see it now again. Running pretty well. Here's what actually using the selfie camera really looks like. I'm actually just using the regular microphone built into the actual tablet, so nothing actually attached. And the quality is actually pretty good. So if you actually want to use this for Teams or Zoom calls, by all means, go right ahead. The picture is actually pretty good. And I don't think you would actually really need anything external as a microphone or headset, even though many people like to do that for sound reduction and noise cancellation purposes and whatnot. Here's a little bit of a side-by-side view of a Pro 8 and a Pro 7 tablet right here. And I've actually been using this particular tablet for a number of things, emailing, watching videos, even doing a little bit of photoshopping as well too. Definitely can check out the review of the signature keyboard that I've also gotten for the Pro 7. I went ahead and removed it just to give you a just tablet view here only. And obviously a little bit of an awkward thing to actually compare both of them, considering this is Windows 11, this is Windows 10. Of course, the Pro 7 can be upgraded to Windows 11 without a hitch. So let me just go ahead and give you a little bit of a physical view here. You can immediately tell one big difference for sure is the borders over here. You definitely have more screen space on the Pro 8 than the Pro 7, particularly on the left and the right. Another little difference as well too, I mentioned early on in the unboxing, is that the volume buttons and the power buttons have actually been moved to the left and the right side of the Pro 8. Up here on the Pro 7, they're actually all up in the upper left side, your power button and your left and right up and down volume toggle as well too. So that's a little bit of a good design change there. It's really up to you whether you actually like that or not. I'm actually kind of neutral on it because if you do turn this device in another portrait kind of orientation, you'll see that you'll start pumping into those buttons by accident here and there. And I've only had that happen to me once so far with the Pro 8 when I was just basically looking at it in this particular view here, reading a news website. Another little difference you might actually notice, just taking a look here at the physicals, is basically the Pro 8, so ever so slightly larger or taller as well too. I did mention earlier that it did actually feel like the Pro 8 weighed a little bit more, had a little bit more weight to it. Feeling that now, it actually pretty much is true. I mean, right now I can really just tell that the Pro 8 definitely does have a little bit more weight to it. Mind you, this is a base model, so I'm not sure if the upper models will probably have even a little bit more weight to it, but definitely still feeling that in the portable. I mean, it's for the most part not uncomfortable to actually hold with one hand, even though not really made to actually be held like that. Though, I'll be honest, when I'm actually using my Go 3 tablet and just watching videos just before hitting the hay and getting some bed, I actually do tend to hold this over my head, like, you know, basically laying my head down on a pillow and holding this up and using the kickstand to kind of grip the tablet a little bit better. Otherwise, you know, this thing would literally just fall right on my head. So I wouldn't recommend that with the Pro 8 or even the Pro 7. I don't do that with this. The Pro 8 really actually is not a redesign of the entire tablet. This design's already previously been used, as mentioned, with the Surface Pro X, the ARM CPU-based version of this particular device. And I'll definitely see if I can get my hands on that particular device as well too, to do a review on it. Now, I'm not too optimistic I would actually use it, because remember, it is actually an ARM CPU, and not like an Intel or AMD 32 or 64-bit base CPU. So the architecture, unfortunately, in that particular ARM CPU will not really allow you to run all applications I can basically just run here. You can actually just take a look at the stuff I have there, VLC, Winamp, good old-fashioned Winamp, Adobe programs like Photoshop, Acrobat, all run pretty flawlessly on these devices. But on an ARM-based CPU, actually may run into issues and even see messages where certain things are actually not supported. That's actually not the case here with the Pro 8. This is a full so to speak, like laptop, desktop experience here, full computer use, which is one reason why I really enjoy using these particular devices in general. I've actually owned like Android tablets and of course had my dabble with iPads before, and they definitely have their pluses. But unfortunately, you have to understand that those are mobile iOSs. And I had to explain this to a couple of family members myself, just to let them know that on the mobile iOS, even though it works pretty well, you do have your limitations, whether it's iOS or Android, or even another mobile iOS that you've actually used out there. But when you're actually using a full desktop operating system like Windows on a device like this, anything you've actually used on the computer even years ago, like I said here, good old-fashioned Winamp is actually there, though that program does have a little issue with the scaling, but other than that, it runs pretty well. You will be able to actually run all applications on the Pro 8. That's one reason why I've been really attracted to these particular tablets, when previously I hardly ever used tablets before unless I'm going to be watching a movie on the plane or give the tablet over to a younger child to just watch the same thing, watch YouTube, Lego videos, and videos as well too. Over here, you could be watching Netflix and then just easily click on your taskbar and jump over to a Word document, or jump over to your Chrome or Firefox or Edge browser and start reading the news all without a hitch. On mobile iOSs or operating systems, you do have a little bit of a limitation there. It definitely does work, but one of the first things I will say that mobile iOSs did try to do early on is just try to simulate a desktop experience as best as it could, while also retaining that mobile experience as well. And of course, over the years, I've definitely come a long way. I found myself staring at my phone, my smartphone, and using it for basically everything you could imagine. However, there are some things I definitely don't enjoy doing on mobile phones, and probably the top thing is emailing. And you can definitely see I do have Outlook here and here as well too. And I use Outlook on my Surface Pro quite often. And, of course, just doing either research and whatnot on the internet. When I see a link there for LinkedIn or any other stuff that seems really appealing to me, I immediately just start using it here without a problem. And that's something, the experience I really definitely enjoy having on a tablet. So if you're definitely looking forward to that particular experience, the Pro 8 does not disappoint. It's an amazing product. And you do have a number of options here. Now, unfortunately, this does come with Windows 11 Home, but you also have many options to go ahead and install, have it updated to Pro. Enterprise customers can even go ahead and install the enterprise version of a Windows 10, which is something I'm actually looking forward to giving a shot and seeing how it performs there as well too. Just for comparison, I actually do have the Pro 8 right next to the Go 3 tablet side by side, so obviously a big difference in size there. There's definitely no question about that. Obviously in performance as well too. Both of them are currently playing in 1080, and I did actually see the Go 3 hiccup there for just a moment, just before I actually started recording. One thing I wanted to mention about the Pro 8 is definitely the amazing sound quality. A little bit unexpected, but amazing sound quality coming from it. The speakers are obviously really nice, but there's also a subwoofer effect coming from this particular tablet, even giving you a little bit of a surround sound effect sometimes, depending on what kind of audio you're listening to, particularly something like this where you hear ambient sounds around you, kids laughing, wind, water to the right. And it's actually really impressive. Even just hearing the little boot sound in the beginning all sounds pretty impressive as well too. There was a moment in this video just before I started recording that a motorcycle went by, and for a second there it almost sounded as if a real motorcycle was actually out my window, and I'm thinking, oh, I have to pause the video now because now a motorcycle is going to be in my video, but it was actually coming from the tablet, just to give you a little bit of an indication of what kind of audio to be expecting from the Pro 8. And if audio is definitely something you're looking for without using Bluetooth speaker, Bluetooth headphones, you will definitely not be disappointed. This tablet is really the amazing device for you for that particular purpose. And obviously the picture is definitely crystal clear. If you're planning to actually binge watch Netflix or YouTube videos like I've actually been doing pretty lately, this device is definitely the one for you. And obviously going on the internet, checking out news sites, checking your email, and of course attaching the keyboard here is definitely more worth it. Hey everyone, hope everyone enjoyed that quick, thorough video there and very detailed description based on my experience so far and review of this particular device. I wanted to throw in as much information here, as much personal experience as I possibly could when actually using this device for the last couple of days. Actually, I have it here playing a video of a snow walk that I actually did, I would say some weeks back in February, since right now in March it's actually starting to get a little bit warmer here in New York City. So far this device has actually been really productive for me. Mostly been using it recently for just video watching and whatnot, but if I did have my hands on the keyboard, I'll probably be using it for email and a bunch of other stuff as well too. Possibly even doing, who knows, could even be uploading some YouTube videos from it and whatnot. It's definitely more than capable of it, as long as you have enough space to put in all that 4K video, of course. But absolutely, as always, let me know if there's any questions, any comments you actually have on this device, if there's any issues you're actually having with it using the Pro 8, if you actually own one yourself. I've actually maybe read one or two little issues that some people have been having, but it's more really Windows 11 related, and I believe those issues have actually been resolved. Anything else may have actually just been a dud in terms of the keyboard or the particular tablet itself. But so far, pretty flawless performance. And like I said, one thing I really cannot really describe as much, but even can't really give you the experience yourself, is the audio. It's actually really good. The speaker sound is really good, and that subwoofer feeling you get pretty much from around back this area where the vents actually are actually really amazing, and I'm really impressed with the performance and the sound of this particular device so far. Hope you enjoyed this video. Definitely shoot a like and subscribe if you want to go ahead and support the channel, and definitely look forward to more unboxings and reviews of devices as well too, including motherboards. Definitely have another one coming up very soon. Thanks again for watching, everyone. As always, stay safe. Take care.